is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea, then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Heidi, and I am joined by the wonderful Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah, I know you're an animal person. I know you have many pets. So you might not like the first story that we're going to share.
No.
It's a strange story. It's kind of sad. So I think I'll just get this out of the way,
Just
for
jump
animal
in.
lovers, we're just going to start with it and then we're going to move on. But I thought it was interesting, so I just want to share it. It takes place in Manila in the Philippines, and it's about turtle smugglers, which is strange.
Which is a good name for a band, but not a good occupation.
Oh, that is a good name for a band. Maybe they would have the Teenage Mutant blah, blah, blah.
Those guys.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on their shirts or something.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
could
maybe.
see it. Or they would just be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. But I want to start off by saying the turtles were intercepted. So they didn't, obviously they found them, the turtles. They didn't find the smugglers. They didn't get sold, so they are safe. So we can all, sigh on that one. Thankfully.
But they're going to need therapy.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
This is traumatizing.
I know. I would be upset if I got stuffed in a smuggler's suitcase.
Well, yeah.
This happened when the Filipino customs officials, they found 4 suitcases, which were all left in the arrivals area of the international airport near Manila. This happened on March 3rd. When they opened the suitcases, they found more than 1,500 exotic turtles and tortoises stuffed into the suitcases.
That's a lot of turtles in a very small space. I mean,
Yes.
Suitcases can be large, but they're not that big.
Right. I agree. I feel like that's, at least for me, that's particularly the strange part, because I know that animal smuggling, obviously does happen, which again, adopt, don't shop. But things are just, that's a lot of turtles. I mean, even 4 suitcases, still. Yeah. Some of the animals that they found, they were wrapped in duct tape. Some were mixed into even normal looking luggage items like clothes, shoes, even cookies.
So there's other things in these suitcases.
Yeah, not just turtles.
Dang.
Yeah. It's like they put in random clothes and then turtles hidden near shoes and stuff.
Because that's gonna, so you're not gonna notice the 1,500 turtles and tortoises in the X-rays if there's a pair of shoes,
right? Or if you search it, just the sock is kind of moving. Won't notice, not at all. The items, they were left behind by a Filipino passenger coming from Hong Kong. The Philippine Bureau of Customs, they said so in a statement, and they're not completely sure why the passenger abandoned the animals in the airport. Maybe a change of heart. I don't know. But the Customs Bureau does guess that the passenger may have been informed of the vigilance of the port against illegal wildlife trade and its penalties. Probably part of the reason they could have been aware of all of the vigilance is because this isn't an uncommon problem. It does happen, which, again, is very sad. I don't know if they have 1,500 turtles all in one go, but it does happen. In the Philippines, if you are convicted of wildlife smuggling, you can face prison time up to 2 years and a fine of $3,850. The smuggled animals that they found included star tortoises, redfoot tortoises, sulcata tortoises, and red-eared slider turtles. I don't know what any of those look like.
I was just going to say, I would have to look them all up.
Yep, but they're turtles. And they were kind of small. I mean, they had to be to fit into, the suitcase.
I read red-eared as rear-eared slider turtles, and I was like, their ears are backwards? Then I reread it.
Their ears are in a knot on their head?
Yeah.
But, not like Galapagos tortoise, because that wouldn't fit. But sadly, the kind that you buy at a pet store, the small ones.
Teeny tiny ones.
Yeah, that go in little tiny little aquariums in your room. Which is sad. All of the animals that were found were turned over to the officials from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. They monitor wildlife trafficking. And, as I've said, they looked like pets. It's because turtles and tortoises are often kept as exotic pets. Sometimes they are also used as a form of traditional medicine or served as a delicacy across parts of Asia. Their meat is considered by some to be an aphrodisiac, while the bones are powdered for use in medicine. Also, I know that in America, people also eat turtles, too. It's not just like in Asia.
Yeah.
So people do eat turtle. I mean, it's not super, it's not like you're just going to go to a restaurant and see it on the menu all the time. But it does happen. And also, I feel like everyone just thinks some sort of even kind of exotic animal, if you eat it, could be an aphrodisiac.
I know.
Everyone thinks that. Like lobster, I don't know.
Oysters.
Yeah, everything. Also, discoveries of smuggled wildlife, as I said, it's not uncommon in the Philippines. Customs authorities said last year they turned over a total of 560 wildlife and endangered species, including 250 geckos, 254 corals, and other reptiles. They were all found in air parcels, baggage, or shipments.
Wow.
So it happens pretty often. Earlier in the year, Filipino customs officials found 63 iguanas, chameleon, and bearded dragons. So it's a lot, which is definitely, I feel like the bearded dragon could really be bigger than the turtles. But
they can be big. I mean, they start out pretty small, but then, including tail, they can be up to about 2 feet.
Oh gosh, I hope
iguanas can be up to like 6 feet, though.
Oh god.
So I would think you would be smuggling babies on that one, but
I would imagine. I hope they're not like stuffed in socks.
Aww.
Also, turtle smuggling is also an issue in nearby countries, not just in the Philippines. The BBC News reported that just recently, I believe just in this last week, 3,300 pig-nosed turtles were smuggled into Malaysia by boat, though the attempt was intercepted by Malaysia's maritime agency.
It's been a good week for intercepting smuggled turtles.
I know, yeah.
Go turtle interceptors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I do wonder if that means, though, that, like, I don't know, other, like, more turtles?
Right, how many
how many didn't get
intercepted?
Caught?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's just a good week where they got out all of them, but not sure.
Probably not.
Well, okay. I said we'd get that over with. That's out of the way.
Okay.
We're moving on to another story. This is another animal one, but not nearly as sad. Actually, quite hopeful and, well, who knows? Maybe he could really turn the tide of our political environment. This is about Lincoln, the goat, who got elected as mayor of a small Vermont town.
Not the first mayoral animal election we've talked about on the podcast.
Also not the first Lincoln to take office. But.
That's true, yeah.
So I guess he was aptly named. So the goat, Lincoln, is a 3-year-old Nubian goat, and he is the first honorary pet mayor of the small town in Vermont of Fairhaven. The goat was chosen this week by townspeople for the 1-year post at the community's town meeting day. And Lincoln will take office as we record this, I believe, today, March 12th.
Aw.
Yeah. So good for him. I hope he has a good start.
Yeah, I wonder if he, usually you have to put your hand on like a Bible or, something else. When you take office, he probably just ate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Being a goat. Sure. It's like, pages.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how they swore him in, but they had to have a lot of backup books. Who knows? Maybe they put it and wrapped it in plastic or something. Try and slow it down. To become mayor, there was a ballot. 16 pets were on the ballot, and it was open to all town residents. Most of the other candidates were dogs and cats. There was also apparently a gerbil named Crystal, which I don't know why. It seems strange name for a gerbil, but I don't know. Whatever.
Better luck next time, Crystal, and the dogs and cats.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know how long gerbils live, but hopefully long enough to make it to the next election.
Oh, goodness. I don't either.
She could be very old in office.
That's sad.
I don't know if they take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But Lincoln had 13 votes, which beat out a dog named Sammy that received 10.
He had 13 votes. Oh, my gosh.
This is a small town.
Yes, it is.
And then I guess the other candidates combined got 30 votes, but Lincoln won 13 votes, so he beat out Sammy by 3. So, man, maybe, I don't know. Good for you, Lincoln.
Maybe Sammy can be lieutenant No, this is mayor, vice mayor.
No, potentially. Or he's just like in like a political drama. He'll be like the nemesis, so trying to bring him down.
Always
stir
trying
up
to
controversy.
Yep.
Maybe he had like a dirty
Create
campaign.
scandal around
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Oh, poor Lincoln. I hope he's a good mayor. During his time as mayor, Lincoln will be expected to attend local events such as marching in the Memorial Day Parade wearing a custom-made sash. I would imagine it'd be custom-made. I don't know where else they'd get that.
Right.
It wouldn't be like a human sash. Well, maybe.
Cut down,
Small
but
human.
still custom made.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Fairhaven, which is the town that Lincoln is apparently now mayor of, it's about 2,500 people in the town. It is along the border of New York, just west of Rutland, and they don't have a human mayor. They have a town manager, who is Joseph Gunter, and he said that he heard about a small town in northern Michigan.
That's
was
the
trying
one we
something
talked about.
similar. Oh, there we
I
go.
think that's the one they have. Not only their entire town council is animals.
What?
Yeah. I can't remember which episode that Stacy and I talked about
Does
that.
that just mean like every town ordinance is just like more hay?
Probably.
I don't know.
Although, there was only about 50 votes in this election for a town of 2,500. Come on, people.
I know.
That's
Maybe they
really
just-
bad voter turnout.
Yeah, they just weren't very enthused by the animal mayor.
And it's a small town, but it's still 2.5 times bigger than my hometown.
Oh wow! Did you have an animal mayor?
No, we have a human mayor.
Oh, it's not as exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably
No, it's
probably
not.
for the better.
It's really not as exciting.
Maybe Lincoln will send someone over there. Who knows?
They can be sister towns and
Yeah, who knows?
yeah.
They'll just be friendly. Okay, so Joseph Gunter, the town manager, he had heard about this in the town in Michigan. Again, they also have they have the animals running it. And he thought that this would be a good way to raise money for a local playground. So I believe that means people had to put in money. I don't know if that means to vote or to put their pet in. But they raised about $100. There was a $5 entry fee. It, they raised some money. I don't think they raised as much as they wanted to. But Joseph did say that it was a good way to introduce the elementary school kids to local government, which is kind of cute. Mm-hmm. And the ballot for pet mayor was held alongside just the regular town meeting day voting. And any town resident could vote. So you're right. That is pretty low turnout for the town. But maybe the next election, it's their first pet mayor. So maybe they have to just get used to the idea.
Yeah, maybe it'll build and grow as time goes on.
Yeah, they'll just see him around and maybe come to their senses. Or they decide they don't like him and want to elect, Sammy the dog or something.
Exactly. Or Crystal the gerbil.
Yeah.
The
who
guinea
knows?
pig? What was she?
Gerbil, yeah. They'd have to really make a custom sash for Crystal.
Absolutely.
Very, very tiny. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back and keep talking about some more weird news.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the Weird News Podcast. We are continuing to talk about some strange stories. This next one is pretty funny, I have to say. For some, it's probably not as exciting as a goat mayor, but I really liked this one. It's also a story that I feel has been getting, out there on social media. Other people that I've talked to have already heard of it. So this is about a photo that was used to show that all hipsters look alike.
I know what the story is.
Oh, gosh. So it was used to show that all hipsters look alike. And then a man got mad because he thought the image was of him, but it wasn't.
Right. Was he mad because they used it without his consent, the image without his consent?
Yes. That's what he was mad about. And I think it was just kind of mad that they said he was a hipster.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he's not a hipster because it's not him. So what happened is a man threatened to sue a technology publication for using his image, and the story was about how all hipsters look alike. However, the picture was of a different person.
He didn't even recognize himself.
No, he didn't. He just saw a hipster and just saw himself. Oh, man. Okay, so a few weeks ago, MIT Technology Review posted an article titled "The Hipster Effect: Why Anti-Conformists Always End Up Looking the Same," which I think sounds like a very interesting article. You know, good read. It discussed a Brandeis University study about the hipster effect, or how nonconformists often end up conforming to counterculture conventions.
Yes.
You know, kind of like all hipsters wear beanies and have beards, you know, that kind of idea.
Mm-hmm, like grunge, you know, sort of countercultural, but everybody just ended up wearing flannel.
Yep. The article featured an image. It was created from a Getty stock photo of a bearded man in a flannel shirt and a beanie. So the man did think that it was used without permission, but it is a stock photo, so they're allowed to use it. Mm-hmm. So he got mad about it. The review had used the image. Also, they had duplicated it several times and added different colored hues kind of to illustrate the point of duplicity, you know? So it looked kind of cool. You know, I wouldn't say they just used the straight image, you know, they tried to make it look different. It wasn't just the picture of a guy. So they tried, and they did a good job. The art department did a good job. But an unidentified man saw the image, thought it was a picture of him, and sent the publication apparently a pretty heated email. Part of it read, "Your lack of basic journalistic ethics in both the manner in which you reported this uncredited nonsense and the slanderous, unnecessary use of my picture without permission demands a response, and I am, of course, pursuing legal action." So that's a lot.
Yeah.
Really coming after him. You know, I mean, except that it's not him.
There's that.
Just minor details. So the review's editor-in-chief, Gideon Litchfield, he said, talking about the man who sent them the email, he said, "He accused us of slandering him, presumably by implying he was a hipster and of using the pic without his permission." He continued to mention, "Calling someone a hipster isn't slander, no matter how much they may hate it." He did admit that his publication, that they wouldn't really use an unlicensed image, really at all, just because that would be really a dumb thing for them to do. Mm-hmm. But they did look into the matter, and although they got the image from a reputable agency, the art department looked into the license of the image, and they said that, you know, they had the right of license. You know, they said you could take the picture down if you want, if he's annoyed, but the creative director said no, and that the image was used with permission and was perfectly in accordance with their rights, and said that they're not going to take it down just because someone didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, they had all the right to have it on there. And again, they kind of edited it. It's not just they didn't just take it immediately off the stock images. So well, they tried, you know. You can still tell kind of who it is, but it looks pretty good. The publication did get in touch with Getty. Again, Getty is who had the stock image, is where they got it. The agency checked the model release and gave the review the interesting information. They said they have a team that deals with legal complaints. They went into their archive and checked the details. And they came back and said that actually the model in the photo does not have the same name as the person that had written the email. Oops. What do you know? How do you explain this? Except that it's not him.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously that was... I'm sure the Litchfield, the editor-in-chief, kind of, I don't know, I would do a fist pump. So apparently they wrote to the man and said, "We don't think this is you." And then he replied, "Oh, guess you're right. It's not."
Oh, never mind.
Oh, gosh. So the editor-in-chief, he went on Twitter. He said, "Getty checked the model release and gave us the news. The guy who complained wasn't even the guy in the picture. He'd misidentified himself."
Oh, the irony.
He continues, "All of which just proves the story we ran. Hipsters look so much alike they can't even tell themselves apart from each other."
Yep.
Yeah.
Way to prove their point there, buddy.
I know. Needless to say, people really loved the story and the fact that the guy got called out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Especially going after a publication that has a following and a social media, voice, like, you can't, oh God, totally gonna get called out. Don't even try. I mean, try if you're wrong, but like, really?
Right. I mean, if it really was your picture that they'd used without permission, but maybe do a little more homework.
Right. It's, I mean, look in the mirror. I don't know. Or like, did I do a model job for this?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe consider.
I wonder if he consulted friends first, or if he just jumped.
Yeah.
Like if he said, "Does this look like me?" They used my picture, and his friends were like, "Yeah, that is you." Or if he had friends who were like, "I don't think so, dude."
Oh yeah. I don't know. Don't drink and email.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I should say. Okay. So this next story is interesting. It's also kind of just about someone being stupid. It's about
most of the stories on this podcast.
Yeah, no, very true.
Animal mares and people being stupid.
Yep, I find that's all I need. That's all the news that I need. So this is about a man who broke into an apartment and then like just broke in and cooked tortillas in their house. Which I don't.
Was he high? Was he drunk? This is always what I ask.
Well, it's probably not a surprise, but yeah. So what happened? Authorities say that a man was accused of breaking into a Phoenix, Arizona apartment, and then he just helped himself to like tortillas and soup. Which, okay. According to the documents, a female the court documents, they showed that the man who broke in was 31-year-old Jeremy Christopher Drain. He was arrested March 1st on suspicion of criminal trespassing, which, yeah, sounds like you were. Also, you were eating their tortillas.
Yeah.
That's
theft.
I know, right? Okay, so the document said that a female occupant of the apartment smelled something burning. She found Drain in the kitchen cooking tortillas on top of a stove burner, which kind of sounds like he wasn't even using a pan.
So was she like sleeping and then she woke up because she smelled burning?
I don't know if
or was she an occupant of another apartment?
And I think she was in that apartment, but I don't necessarily know if she was sleeping. But I guess she just wasn't. She was like somewhere else in the apartment.
Still creepy. You're hanging out, you're just at home. Suddenly you smell something burning. There's a guy in your kitchen cooking tortillas.
Yeah, it kind of made it sound like they were a bit calmer about the whole thing than I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be. I'd be freaking out. But she yelled for her roommate, and then both of the women tried to get Drain to leave. Like, they just demanded that he leave. Honestly, they handled that way better. I would be out of that house. Mm-hmm. There's no way I would stay around to tell the guy to leave. Not at all. Or maybe, like, I would yell that as I ran out the door.
Yeah. As I yelled, I am calling the police.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But they just, like, asked him to leave. They also told the police that then he went out into the balcony and began eating a can of soup. Which also, you didn't even heat it up.
I was just going to say, was it heated up?
You just opened the can and ate it, which is really gross. And
I'm going to heat up these tortillas, darn it. But the soup, it's fine.
I'm going to heat up the tortillas and burn them.
Right.
Without using a pan, potentially. And then I'm just going to eat the cold soup straight from the can. Mm-hmm. Although I do have a roommate that eats SpaghettiOs straight from the can.
Oh,
which is really gross to me. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the texture thing plus the temperature. I just could not get past that.
Not a lot of nutritional value there.
I mean, no, not at all. So I feel like you're not even getting nutrients, and it's just unpleasant of an experience. But the responding officers, they showed up, and they said that Drain did show signs of being intoxicated. And then, of course, he was arrested, and he is due back in court later this month. Also, this is what makes me think that, well, I guess they could have been sleeping, but one of the women in the apartment believes that he entered when she left the door unlocked to go do laundry. So I thought then that maybe, like, she was just kind of busy, so she wasn't fully paying attention. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, left the door open. But this really scares me. So I'm like, man, I should not leave the door unlocked at all.
Yeah.
Because I don't want some drunk guy making
tortillas in my kitchen.
Right, yeah.
And eating my soup.
Exactly, that's my food. I worked for that.
That's right.
Just doing laundry, minding my own business. Granted, he would probably argue that he was just minding his own business in my house.
In my apartment.
But, okay, whatever. We're going to take another break, and then we'll be right back and keep talking about some more weird news stories.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the Weird News Podcast. We are moving on to our next story. This is not about a man breaking into your house and cooking tortillas and eating your soup cold. This is about a man dropping some beats, which I had to really think about to remember what that phrase is. I was like, throwing beats?
Doing something with beats.
Taking beats? I don't know.
You didn't ask me, because I would have been like,
Yeah. Thankfully, I had that written down.
Good job.
I knew myself. But this is not just about any guy throwing down beats. Did I say that right? Dropping beats.
I don't know.
Burning tortillas, dropping beats.
We're talking B-E-A-T, not beats. Like
yes.
The food beats, B-E-E-T.
Yeah, that would be going in a different direction.
Moved on to a different story, not a food story.
Yeah, fortunately. Which I would love to talk about food. But this is about a man making some hip-hop tracks, but just find different ways to say that. But what makes it interesting is that he is 72 years old. He is a grandfather, and he is now a newly discovered hip-hop artist.
You go, dude.
I know. This man's name is Arthur Du Bois, and he's not really your typical grandfather. He is 72 years old and is a Chicago resident, and he has just recently become a hip-hop artist, or at least a recognized one.
All right.
So what happened is, I believe last week, he walked into Haven Studios, which is a music mentoring program on the south side of Chicago. It supports young, aspiring artists. And the owner of Haven Studios, Andre Add2 Daniels, said that Du Bois claimed he was young at heart. So Daniels decided to listen to his music. He was quickly floored by it. He really said that the music feels youthful and that it's easy to imagine the beats blasting in a dance club. Daniels quickly took a video showcasing Du Bois' talent. He posted it to Twitter, and the tweet went viral. It garnered thousands of reactions within a matter of days, which is pretty cool. So good for Arthur.
Yeah.
So Arthur Du Bois, his talent has caught the attention of some famous hip-hop producers, which is pretty cool, along with many people who just follow the Twitter account. Also, Daniel said it's not really what you would expect, and you can hear him saying that over one of the videos. Also, Du Bois' music is playing in the background in the video, and it has a steady beat that easily, apparently, invites listeners to dance. As for Du Bois himself, in the video, he's just kind of standing nonchalantly, dressed in like his black coat, like baseball hat. Not much, he's not being showy, he's just listening, which is pretty cool. And it's especially, I guess, unexpected, this music, because it's in the subgenre of hip-hop that is trap music. And that type of music only rose to popularity in the late 1990s and early 2000s, which is well after Du Bois' youth. So if he had heard the music before, which influenced him, it was when he was a much older gentleman. It's also a style that Du Bois said is entirely self-taught. He first started teaching himself to produce hip-hop beats about 6 years ago after he retired. He said, "I found something to do. I had to learn how to do the computer and music at the same time." I mean, yeah. Having to learn how to do the computer. That is rough.
Yeah, but good job for, getting out of your comfort zone.
I know. He taught himself using the audio editing softwares Mixcraft and Pro Tools, and he said that now Du Bois is learning a new skill, which is social media. He said that his social media fame has been a little overwhelming. At first, he said that he was shocked, and he broke down and cried because he didn't know that many people liked him, which is sad and sweet.
Yeah.
Also, apparently Daniels has helped Du Bois set up accounts on Twitter and Instagram for all of his fans to follow, which is pretty cool. And I think that's pretty cool that like Daniels has this like space for young artists, and especially that he didn't just kind of kick him out, you know?
Right, just write him off.
Right. He wanted to listen to his stuff, and he helped him.
Yeah.
So, like, after listening to it, saw the potential, which is really the importance of being able to, like, have those types of spaces. Having someone who can see potential, and then helping that person and encourage them. Also, Du Bois said, I never used Instagram, Twitter, and all that other stuff because I didn't believe in that stuff myself. But now I've got to have it. Which, yes, he has many adoring fans now.
Yes.
And the attention doesn't seem to have gone to his head. He said, I just want to put it out there and let other people hear my music. I don't care about the Grammys or nothing like that. Just the people, they know where I am.
Aw.
It's pretty fun. And his plan is just to keep creating music. So good for him. He's not looking for fame. He just, wants to share his tunes with everyone out there.
Yeah.
So good for him. And I want to listen to his stuff. I'm not a big fan of trap music, but I will listen. And I wish him the best. I hope that, the social media pressure doesn't get to his head.
That's right.
But if any of us can stay strong.
I was just going to say, stay down to earth.
Right. It would be Arthur Du Bois.
Yep.
So good for him. And that brings us to the end of the episode. So thank you so much for listening. And please tune in to the next GSMC Weird News podcast.